Okay, announcements. Let's go to the announcements. 어디서 포인트? no, 위에서 할까? Next, please. We want to welcome everybody here for the first time and also brothers and sisters joining us online. If you're here for the first time, we give you a big round of applause, everybody. Look at all these brothers and sisters from all over the world here. Each person you meet here, my friends, each person you meet here is being persecuted, hated, mocked, and cursed. Why? Because they did not sell out to Satan. Because they have true love in their hearts, and they have true love for the Messiah. That's the reason. You know what? That's a big blessing then. If that's the reason why we are persecuted, well, we are grateful for being persecuted. Grateful. Next, please. Next, please. August 19th celebrations. Wasn't it such a wonderful day on Friday? It was like a mystical, magical day. All the, this, you have to understand, folks. There's nowhere in the world now that is keeping Father's traditions. You understand that, right? So even everything from the ceremonies to the order of ceremonies, we are keeping the tradition alive. Nowhere in the world, you understand, is keeping the tradition, right? So even though sometimes it felt monotonous and we were going through each ceremony, et cetera, it felt kind of like a long time for each ceremony, but we have to understand the significance. There's a deep significance. We're connecting straight back to the presence of Father in those ceremonies. And of course, so many people experienced the Holy Spirit, experienced Father there. Wow, wasn't Father's presence so powerful in that day? God bless Cheonil-guk. Woo, my goodness. So incredible. And so all of the ceremonies really have deep meaning. Nowhere in the world now are they kept in the order and manner in which Father has kept them. Okay, so that's very significant that we and sanctuaries all over the world are keeping the culture and the tradition of Father alive. That's so important. Okay? So such an amazing day full of ceremonies. Wow, we went until like 9, 10 at night. And just everybody consumed by the Spirit. It was such a beautiful, beautiful day. Offering table volunteers, look at all our offering table. Did you see what kind of offering table that the family fraud put up for Father? They put up a fruit basket. They put up it looked like some kind of fruit market or something. Just a whole bunch of fruit they just threw on the table. This is huge insult in king and royal culture. Humongous insult. That on the day commemorating the King of Kings, you just throw a bunch of fruit on a big pile on a table. Each one of these pillars that you see here, painstakingly is, nailed up onto these pillars, right? You see all those like the offering table? Each fruit has to be, tied on. You see? Each one has to be done by hand. Every single little, strawberry, apple. It is a sign of reverence and worship and praise of preparing with gratitude and thanksgiving these things. Did you see it was unbelievable. I saw a picture of that. It is an utter disgrace. They just throw a pile of fruit on. And it shows you the state at which they're in. But we are grateful for our volunteers who came and did the proper way, with 정성, with heart, with love. That is the correct way to offer those things. Okay. So thank you all the volunteers. Beautiful job. Amazing offering table. We're in the wilderness and we don't have altars of gold and all that, but we have love and we have sincerity. 정성 and love. And guess what, folks? In the kingdom, that's real. That's real. That's what leaves with us when we leave this place. So we are grateful for all the volunteers. Thank goodness we did it properly here and had a wonderful, wonderful offering table. We thank all the volunteers, our sincere gratitude to all volunteers. Your help was critical, crucial in bringing the victories of this weekend's events, weekdays events, right? We greatly appreciate your hard work and dedication to our Heavenly Father and God's three-generation kingship. Kindly complete an evaluation form placed at the entrance, each entrance to the main sanctuary near the donation box. Please let us benefit from your input. Okay, and hopefully all the volunteers sign up for the upcoming Ocean Challenge. You volunteers got to come because we got something special for you, okay? Don't be foolish and not come. Okay. Sanctuary Church middle and high schoolers. With Japanese middle and high schoolers, this would be a great time. We have all these young people from Japan. Let's get young people, raise your hand from Japan. There we go. We got a whole group from Japan. See all these young people? And this is Tuesday, August 23rd. So this Tuesday, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Promised Land State Park, main picnic area, we will have a nice event for the Sanctuary Church middle and high schoolers to meet other sanctuary kids around the world, okay? So this is a great time to meet and play sports and fellowship together, sports games, barbecue together. We encourage all Sanctuary Church middle and high school students to participate, you know? A lot of these families, a lot of the brothers and sisters here, the small, our middle and high schoolers here, their parents are being, very, very, very persecuted, especially like in Japan, as you know. In the West, there's not as much sociological pressure because we respect people's individual decisions, right? But in Asia, and especially in Japan, these families are very heavily persecuted, and it's the 360-degree persecution. They get everything, including your dog and cat, to persecute you. Okay, it's a 360 attack. Okay, so it's a very heavy attack these guys are going through, and their families are going through. So pray for them, and also when they have the the barbecue, the young people, come join them, encourage them, have fun with them. And fellowship together. Okay, it's going to be very, very, I think, uplifting for them. And these guys are heading back soon. When are you heading back? When you're going back to Japan? Suyobini? 24? 24th. No. These kids. 24? When is that? Is that Wednesday? Oh, okay. So they're not here long. So you guys here a very short time. So that will be very meaningful for them. Okay, and now, of course, we have other stuff that we're going to be training with you guys, right? We're going to be doing jiu-jitsu training and stuff. We're going to do all that stuff, okay, in your short time here. But also, some of our other kids, fellowship together with them, be very, very wonderful. Okay, folks, we are going ocean challenging to Maine. We got it. We got the date. We got the date, okay? So family camp in Maine, it is an ocean challenge family camp, okay? Remember how Father did the ocean challenges? We're going back to the ocean to meet our Father, everybody. We're going back to the ocean. Okay? So this will be from September 26th. That's my birthday. That's my solar Gregorian birthday. So September 26th. And then when are we returning? I think we're returning on Friday, okay? So you can stay however long you want. You can stay 1 day, 2 days, it doesn't matter. And see Greg Knoll for GPS coordinates. It's a secret location. Okay? We're departing so we will be coming back. The goal is we're going to make it back here to Pennsylvania on Friday, okay? So it's going to be like what is that, a 4-day? Is that a 4-day? That's a 4-day and 3-night. 5-day, 4-night ocean challenge training. Woo, man. Oh, goodness. Okay, so that would be 5 to 4 night. Look at that. It's $32 per campsite. That is fantastic. You can't get even on a state park at that price. See, this is what's so wonderful. This is private. This is a private park. Okay, this is what's so we're supporting this type of private business, this kind of Chuniguk business, where the owners have sovereignty of that land. Does that make sense? And guess what? When you go there, you'll see how clean it is. You go to state-run parks, they're dirty as the Shemitah. You got trash all over the place. But the privately run parks, you see, I mean, they come clean up the garbage every night. They deliver lobster at he's going to get to us for $3 or $4 a pound. So that's tremendous, right? That is tremendous. You can, in Japan, how much is lobster in Japan? Eh? Probably what, $40, $50 for one lobster, I bet, right? Is that right? In Japan? You cannot get lobster for $3 or $4 from Maine, right there caught, okay? So it's amazing. This is a difference. So what we want to do, obviously, is build a relationship with these wonderful folks down there. Their family has owned this land since 1722. Wow, I mean, that's before George Washington. I mean, you see how, that's amazing, isn't that amazing? That was like, when was George Washington born? Because he was fighting in 1776. And he was what, in his 40s? This was there before George Washington was born. Wow, that's amazing, folks. That's probably one of the oldest places in America then, right? Anyways, it's amazing. The ocean is right there. The tide goes out in the morning. So all day we can spend walking on the ocean, hunting for clams and natural food and all this stuff. And you can cook what you eat. That's just incredible. You know, there's a secret to the oysters. If you put them in super, super, super salty water for like 3 days, then they actually spit out, they expel all the sand. Then it tastes really good. Right? So we learned some of those methods. The first day we ate the oysters, it was like eating sand. Because there's so much sand inside. But we learned that method to get them to spit out the sand. So then you can eat the wonderful, fresh, organic. This is God's creation right there. You're interacting with. Okay? Also, when the tide comes back in at night, the fish come to you. It's amazing. The fish come to you. So all you have to do is throw out your bloodworm and throw out a line. And God blesses you. Oh, my goodness. And I heard from Eric, who is the owner down there, he told me that even up till November, they're open, I think, to October and November. The lobsters get a harder shell at that time, but they're just as tasty and they have more meat. All right, so all you ladies who can't get to lobster, red lobster, for a couple years, you got to come. Red lobster is, that's old lobster. This is the fresh from the ocean, okay? All right, anyways, that's the Ocean Challenge coming up, okay? So we have a date for that. Campers are responsible for their own transportation, food, camp gear, accessories. It's basically plan it like a family trip, okay? So plan your stuff, get your gear ready, get your tent ready, get your 10Cs ready, all that stuff. Get your stuff ready. If you need, propane cookers, you bring it, bring your stuff. And it's not gonna be like a tight schedule. We're gonna be moving with the rhythm of the natural world. It's called biorhythm, okay? Each family can do hundokes in their own tents. And then when the sun rises and the tide goes out, everybody has freedom and responsibility. There's no real hard schedule, okay? We're communing with the natural world and experience the love of true Father and his love of the ocean there. Okay, so it's a time also to decompress and get away from all the insanity and go back to the calming sounds of the ocean waves. Oh, praise God. Okay. Camp by family or clustered by friends. If you call in early, then you'll know where, for example, we will be staying they're going to cluster us, and so you can choose. You can say we want to be with the sanctuary group, or we want to have a more private place, whatever. So just ask around, whatever you guys want to do, and then we can meet up during the day, etc. So it really it's a natural, organic freedom and responsibility Ocean Challenge, okay? Bring your fishing poles. Definitely bring your fishing poles, folks. Huge striped bass, okay? What is it, sturgeon? Sturgeon, big, 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 big sturgeon. Can you fish sturgeon? You can fish sturgeon, right? Can you? They're protected. I think that sturgeon, their eggs are protected or some of that. Okay, but anyway, striped bass there is very good, big striped bass. Okay, so bring your stuff, and that is the date. Okay, we got a date down. Monday, September 26th is the leaving date. So look forward to that. October 30th, 2016, Ancestor Liberation. Ancestors up to 210th generation can be liberated by a direct descendant on earth who is in True Father's lineage. Please submit your application. Decide your own offering amount and special liberation for all children who died before birth as a result of abortion or other circumstances, folks. Those children will be freed. And it's so important. We're also going to have Gideon, and he's going to be starting the principal lectures, DP lectures. 8 hours a day preaching the DP. And I told him, look, don't, the purpose is not, don't worry about how many come, or this is not the point. The point is, Father said, remember in Father's last words, I read that on Friday, it's by his word that the physical and spiritual worlds are brought together. So, when we begin, again, at Sanctuary to start preaching divine principle, 8 hours a day, okay? Everybody, of course, is welcome to come and support Gideon, pray for him, etc. But he has a very important and also difficult mission. For a young person, it's very hard. He's only in his 20s. It's very hard. And he's just going to have to fight a lot of devils and demons that will try to attack him. I told him, you better be ready spiritually. It's going to be warfare. They're going to try to kill you. These devils are going to try to kill you, okay, because you are a young person who's standing and beginning to preach the word with that intensity, right? And so we know the spirit world will be there. We know his mom will be there. His mom is, of course, just past the spirit world, but she will definitely be in the front row. I said, get in. There's nobody there. Doesn't matter. Your mom is sitting right in the front listening to you. So don't worry about that. This is a spiritual condition of releasing into the atmosphere the divine principle by young people, 8 hours plus a day. So, of course, if you find in your heart to support him and want to listen to him and to come pray for him, you can even just listen. You come in and just listen and just pray for that young man, because he's going to be doing a very difficult spiritual condition. Okay? For all unborn children throughout history, no application or request needed. Spiritual and physical life begins at the moment of completion. We've talked about that. Very, very important. Dates to save in 2017. January 28th, that is a Saturday, is the 50th True God's Day. 50th, wow. And a celebration of True Father's birthday and the Holy Blessing to be confirmed. January 28th, so that's a date to remember. And also 2017, September 7th, Thursday, True Father Seonghwa, September 7th, Thursday, True Father Seonghwa, 5th anniversary, Foundation Day, 2nd anniversary, Holy Blessing. Wasn't the entertainment and all the offerings of the entertainment, wasn't that amazing on that day? Wow. Wow. Boy, that was amazing. All the young people coming out and singing songs of worship. Did you see those songs of worship? I was bugged out because like the whole day we're doing that. And then like, you know, at the camera session, the photo session, you know, we want to get everybody in. We want to actually get all families in and all the families to take pictures with us. So in Japan, we had a system that was pretty fast. So we could get almost everybody who was here to get individual family pictures with us. Right? So anyways, it was moving. It was super slow. So I was getting kind of bugged out. And then I came back. When I came back and I started hearing those songs of praise, wow. God just touched me. I just felt, wow, the Spirit. Wow, what beautiful. And all these young kids worshiping God. You know, these young people, they may not even know the meaning of all the songs that they're singing. They don't even, you know, they may not understand all of it. You know what I mean? They're very deep songs. They may not understand fully. But these songs get planted into their spirit. Seeds get planted in their spirit. Right? So in the future, they don't know when the devil will maybe try to harvest an evil fruit, But that seed that was planted begins to germinate. You never know. Just because they learned that one song, just because, those small kids came out. What is that song? What's that song? What, Matthew West, what is it? I am a child of the one true King. How does that go? Young people, how does that go? Oh, hello, my name is child of the one true King. Remember that? These kids, they don't know. They're singing, they're doing a little dance song. They don't know exactly what it would do. But who knows? Maybe because they did that song, that seed planted. Remember the beginning of that song, it says like, what is it? Hello, my name is regret. I think we have met, or something like that, right? And all these kind of things, or what is it? What's the next verse? Oh, hello, my name is Deceit. I know you recognize me. Right? All these kind of things. They don't know what that would do. But who knows? They may have to fight the spirit of deceit and, what was the first one that they were in the song? Regret. They may have to fight those spirits at some point in their life. They probably will. Right? So that kind of small offering of praise is a seed that's planted in the heart. Right? Transforms the soul. All right, but that was amazing. Herman, I just talked to him now. Where's Herman? Where's our brother Herman from Austria? Hey, you see that big Austrian man? That big, hairy Austrian man. That guy probably has a hairy back, too. He's hairy. Big, hairy Austrian man come out here, played a flute. You see that? That was amazing. So he said he has a goal. We just talked to the Spirit, just pushed me to tell him, there is something called the Taegum in Korea. It is a bamboo, thick, big flute like this. You play like this on the side. Big thing like that. And he said he has lots of students, right? You have how many students you have? 47. And all girls, right? All girls, because it's a delicate, thing. Well, I said, hey, since he's already a flute master, if he learned some of the songs that Father loved in Korean on the bamboo flute, the Korean, thick, big, it's a weapon. That thing is a weapon. The martial artists used to play that, and they fight with it. Okay? So it was also a weapon. It's so thick. It's thick. It's a big piece of bamboo, like that thing. Okay? And he said he will make that his own personal sincerity, commitment, and training. So for next year, Herman Retzinger will play the bamboo flute for True Father on this. Then he will be a true flute master. Okay. Okay, next please. Announcement from Connection Team. Check out our new Foundland Sanctuary Church Facebook page to find out what's happening here in our worldwide community. Please send us your photos. If you're from different parts of the world, send us your photos. You can send it to, here we go, sanctuarychurch.pa@gmail.com. That's the address. Where's the red dot? Please send us photos, video testimonies of your local sanctuary community activities so we can include you. Materials can be sent directly through Facebook, or by email at that email. Okay? So keep us updated so we can keep everybody updated. And, folks, it's very important that we have a place where we can see all the other communities alive. Why? Because when you walk with God, many times the devil wants you to feel lonely. The devil wants you to feel alone, like you are the lone voice in the wilderness, in Austria, in Europe, in Africa, in, different states, Florida, whatever. He wants you to feel like you are alone and you are the minority. Right? So it's very important. Obviously, we are not the minority. When we stand in oneness with God and in unity with true Father, we are the majority. Obviously, we know that we are the majority. But at the same time, it's important to keep everybody else updated. So I know you guys put stuff on your Facebook page. I don't know if you can connect it or somehow. I don't know. Maybe somebody knows how to do that. Where your activities also go up to our sanctuary page, right? So that way everybody can stay updated, abreast of what's going on, what you guys are doing. We meet each other, and we see each other, we know each other. So it's wonderful to see what everybody is doing for God's kingdom. Amen? Okay, so send us those things. if you can. And Freedom Society seminars, August 4th, we discuss pedophilia amongst the elite. This is a serious issue. I heard in Germany now, they are now decriminalizing pedophilia. Oh, people say, oh, that's crazy. How is that possible? Oh, no, he's speaking conspiracy theories again. Don't be an idiot. I told you about this 1 year ago. Right? They use the same tactics as talking about the homosexual agenda, and now is what they call is minor attraction syndrome. So now in Germany, it is now categorized as a disease, which means it's now decriminalized. Because now somebody can be diagnosed as having minor attraction syndrome while they're raping children. Does that make sense, folks? That is decriminalization. That makes sense? This is where Europe is going, this is where the US is going, and of course this is where Asia is going to go, because all Asians want to be Western. This is what you're going to get down the pipeline. This is serious satanic. Remember, folks, look at history and look at the cultures that sacrifice children, rape children, kill them in blood sacrifices. These are satanic cultural rituals that are real. Why do you think the super elite are trying to legalize and decriminalize pedophilia, making it a psychological disorder? Because they're doing it, and because they also kill the children in their satanic blood rituals. These people are psychopaths. They wear the whole thing with the black, robes and, what the deer heads, all this crazy stuff. You guys seen it in different movies. That stuff is real. These people do this stuff, right? Satan is actually doing magic, black magic, powers, all those kind of things to effect his kingdom and will, right? So we can't be foolish to that. And so Cook Jinam actually opened on August 4th the Jimmy Savile scandal. All of you in Europe know, probably in London, all of you know. But Jimmy Savile was a very famous BBC broadcaster. He was a very famous documentary, whatever, journalist. What was he a journalist? I don't know, entertainer, whatever, right? And this guy, and they kept it silent. Everybody in the top echelon kept it silent. But this guy was not only molested, he was trafficking children. Okay? And then he was the distributors. He was distributing children to like the royalty, the British royalty, and the what? Like Sir Edward Heath and these people. To these, quote, nobility. This is a serious issue. That only came out after he died, and then it came out, like, how many cases against him? 50 plus cases. So those are only 50 plus cases against him, but the people who know him says it's literally in the thousands of children that he's raped, and of course they've, quote, disappeared. Wasn't that convenient? Disappeared. Right? So that is a reality. He was one of the best friends of the, Prince Charles. So then we know there's a direct line to Satan's royalty. You see, this is not fake stuff, folks. This stuff is real. Satan is real. And when he's able to hide behind all that centralization, he becomes very real, and he demands them to do all these crazy things that you only see in D&D movies, right? Or whatever, in the medieval Dungeon Dragon games. That stuff, where does that stuff come from? Where is that game made out of? Based on reality. These people actually do that stuff. Right? So this is at the root. This is at the root of the top head of Satan's power. And now they're trying to legalize it. Decriminalize it first. Decriminalize it so that if their friends get caught raping kids and trafficking kids, children, 3-year-old kids, girls and boys, if they get, they have a disorder, you get it? And they can get a psychoanalysis and take some medication. Poor, because they're so poor. How about the medication is a ball-peen hammer in the head? That's some medication for you. I'll change that behavior real quick. Couple MMA elbows to your head. How about that? That's a treatment for them. Crazy. Okay, anyways. So join us for our next meeting, September 1st. Car Arms Conference Room, Lords Valley, PA, time 7 p.m. Okay? And join us for September 1st for that. Next, please. Oops, that's my pointer works. Okay, hold on one second. Everyone's welcome for lunch. We thank you for all the wonderful potluck dishes, for respecting adults, the kids respecting adults. Please do not take food into the small child. But do we have a buffet set up today? Is that correct? Do we have a buffet set up today? Because there's a lot of people here. Okay. Let's give it up one time for the food ministry team who is preparing all that right now. So we thank them. That's why these young people got to learn real fighting. I'm not joking when I tell you, it's important to get punched in the face and choked out. It's so important. What are you going to do when somebody who is bigger than you and stronger than you throws you on the ground and tries to rape? What are you going to rape you? What are you going to do? Well, the federal government says you should just wet your pants and try to poo and pee in your pants, and that will scare away the aggressor. Oh, okay. So you're being raped. You just roll down, and you're supposed to, help them take your pants off and just poo and pee. I mean, these people are insane. This is a definition of insanity. You do not do that. You have to fight for your life. And that's why in Chaniguk, it's natural, because the police, peace, militia is the natural defense. All communities will have that responsibility. So naturally, the young people, during PE, you're going to be training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You're going to learn how to choke some necks. You're going to be, I can get rid of bullying very quick in any school. I can get rid of it very quick. We can get rid of bullying the next day. All we got to do is train all the kids in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They'll stop bullying. Bullying will be stopped. Learn a bit of Muay Thai and MMA. There's no bullying going to be going on. Oh, goodness. The archangel is so dumb. But the problem is the citizens listen to the dumb advice. Okay. Sunday school reminder to parents of infants 48 months and below, please use the nursery room or remain in the main service with your child. Please keep an eye on your children. Playing out the road may be dangerous, so keep an eye on your children. Thank you. And for Sunday school teachers, let's give it a one time for our Sunday school teachers who are educating kids and spending time with them and teaching the word. Okay. And also, I guess now the kids, you guys can go. You can go to your Sunday school. Is that right? We have Sunday school? Yes. So the kids can go to Sunday school. Enjoy your time there. Respect your teachers. No Sunday school? No Sunday school. Why is that slide in there? Okay. I was about to say, let's give it up for our slide team. I guess we can. Okay. All right. So Sunday school is back in here. Okay. We have Sunday school, but it's here. Okay. All right. Okay, folks, so today, what we're going to do, remember, after all the events, we usually have a Chuksunhan, which means a victory celebration day. We kind of did that during entertainment, right? And then also, what Father used to do is ask for reports to be given. So I'd like to actually ask. I heard in the service on Friday that when Tim gave the World Mission Department report, that it was not translated in English, or the English translation did not come out. Is that true? Okay, so nobody could hear it. So Tim will come out, give a report. Also, I'm going to ask the Kanda directors, Richard to go first, Christian next, Reverend Lee, and then Mrs. Arikawa to go finally to give us some reports on what is happening in their regions. Everybody knows that on Thursdays, we usually meet with these folks via Skype. So we see them every week. We see them every week, okay? And very important decisions are made, many rulings are made. I have to make rulings. For example, there's many complicated questions that come up. Like in this scenario, in that scenario, in this scenario, this person had this surgery, and this is how does he affect the blessing? All this kind of things. So there's a lot of these kind of things, okay? So we have to actually go through precedents, and then we have to see what Father has done, and then I have to make a ruling on those things. So we will be posting the rulings, right, Greg? We will be posting the rulings on the Sanctuary Main webpage. Is that correct? Are they up now? Are the rulings up?
Not
Okay, so there's many detailed, like for example, cases that people are maybe struggling with or questions about, and those cases will also be put up there so you can see what kind of very specific rulings come out. Okay? At the same time, on that International Day meeting, we also get reports from the various continents. And so today, basically, we were not able to meet this week. So basically, it is our chance to do it with all of you. So with our continent directors reporting what is happening in their continents. Okay. So first, let's welcome Director of World Mission Department, Mr. Tim Elder, fluent in multiple languages. Looks like a CIA man, but he's not. He's our brother, Tim Elder. Okay.
Thank you. I want to make sure all the middle and high schoolers have radios. I think we have the largest congregation here since we moved to Newfoundland. This hall seats, I think I counted 430 seats, and we've come pretty close to filling it today. Isn't that amazing? That's very amazing. True Father removed himself from his physical body 4 years ago today, but he continues to live. He transcends time and space and is carrying out his spiritual work in every country, every neighborhood, and in the hearts of every person on earth, so as to accomplish God's ideal of creation. And we who have the blessing and honor to participate in True Father's spiritual works experience every day how we are living in the realm of his direct dominion. What we are most grateful for is the Foundation Day that occurred 1 year ago. Originally, Father intended for Foundation Day to happen in the 4th year of Cheongi on the 13th day of the first month. And every day he would tell us, okay, there's so many days left until D-Day. And he always emphasized how urgent the situation was. Unfortunately, no, the Han mother, whom Father raised and educated for 50 years, failed to deny her own lineage that came from Satan, and failed to submit herself to the lineage of heaven. And she usurped the royal position, pushing aside the representative and an inheritor whom Father had chosen, the second king, Hyungjinim. And as a result, Foundation Day had to be delayed. And not only that, but most of the blessed families that Father had sacrificed to save were given false wine and taken back into Satan's lineage. And all the foundation that Father had created in the economic sphere, in the media, and in the academic sphere was all taken by Satan. In a situation where the Han mother committed not only the spiritual fall, but the physical fall as well, the second king relied only on his father-son relationship with True Father. And he left the Cheonjonggung Palace and East Garden, which had become the den of Satan. And he moved the center of the providence to the places where Father had chosen, that is the Lord's Valley and to Newfoundland. And he made a new beginning using the name that Father had given at the time of the dedication of the Cheonbokgung Seoul. That name was the World Peace and Unification Sanctuary. When the second king came to Pennsylvania, there was no one who would stand with him except for his older brother, Kukjinim. And he had no foundation. But he sang the national anthem that Father had established and prayed and offered sincerity and dedication to Father and relied only on Father. Then finally, in the 5th year of Chungi, on the 28th day of the 11th month, by the solar calendar January 18th, 2015, he was able to release the historic sermon, Breaking the Silence. And this went out to the world through the internet. This was the beginning for him to continuously call out and name the crimes committed by Hak Ja Han and by the satanic forces that surrounded her. And his Sunday sermons have all been broadcast live, and his past sermons are available to be searched and to be seen by anyone. And also on Wednesdays, he records a Korean sermon, and that is placed on the internet as well. And world missions also began in earnest. And now the king has appointed continental directors in 8 regions: Korea, Japan, North America, Central America, South America, Europe, Northern Africa, and Southern Africa. And as a result, there are now unification sanctuaries in 41 countries around the world. Our main emphasis has been to bring back the families that were taken into Satan's realm and Satan's dominion as a result of the false foundation day, and to bring them back to Father's realm of authority. And also to bring to Father, the second coming of Christ, the Christian couples, the Christian families that whom Father has prepared. Father gave us the permission, gave us the grace that anyone who returned to Father's realm of authority before his birthday in the 7th year of Chungi, that is this year, would be able to return to their original blessing position. And also that second generation people would be able to recover their second generation status that had been taken away from them as a result of the false wine on the false foundation day. In order that as many families and people as possible, members as possible, could take advantage of this special grace, we held blessing ceremonies on the 3rd month and the 3rd day in the 6th year of Chungi, that is April 21st, 2015. And then again in the same year on the 17th day of the 7th month by the heavenly calendar, that's August 31st. And then in the 7th year of Chungi, this year, we held a blessing on the 6th day of the 1st month, that was February 13th, 2016. In addition, we took the videos of these events and placed them online so that families around the world, couples around the world, could use these videos together with the blessing kits that we sent out so as to participate in blessing ceremonies from long distance. And also here in Sanctuary Church, we were holding blessing ceremonies. If anyone came to the church and asked for a blessing ceremony, we would do it on almost any Sunday, starting at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And as a result, by the time of Father's holy birthday, on the 7th year of Chungi this year, we were able to bring back more than 3,000 couples, 10,000 individuals. And after Father's birthday this year, we've set a new goal for 4,300 couples, and this will be done over a number of phases, and the first phase blessing for that was conducted on Friday. And Father also instructed us to liberate our ancestors up to the 210th generation. And so this is being done for anyone who is in a true Father's lineage. And that has been done twice so far. Also, the second king has been putting a great deal of emphasis on educating young people. Especially, he has been teaching the Brazilian martial arts, jiu-jitsu, so that they can be strong both in mind and in body, and be able to fight Satan and win in any situation. And also he has been giving bushcrafting training, sometimes in extreme cold temperatures, so that no matter what may come, that our people will be able to survive and to participate in the building of God's kingdom after the passing of the judgment. We've also instituted something called the Holy Spirit University. This is an education process so that different Blessed Central families can share what they have, what expertise they have with others. And we have 3 internet websites. One is focused on general information about the Sanctuary Church. Another is focusing on the blessing. And the third is targeting Christian believers. And also we are using Facebook and YouTube and other social media. And now I'd like to call on Richard Panzer to come up and give a report about the United States.
Well, all I can say is that while Father was alive on the earth, I always felt like I was following a hurricane. And then I thought, now I can kind of take a break and just sort of relax. And, you know, I turned 65 this year. I can just sort of chill out. No way, no way. We have another hurricane right here. No retirement. But it's very exciting. And, you know, I just want to point out that we have brothers and sisters here who traveled from California, the Toffees. They sold their houses, they packed up, and they're here in Muscoando. And we have brothers and sisters from Ohio and Chicago and Maryland and a lot of places. So it's good to see. And Florida, that's right, Florida, that's true. So I'd like to show you, we actually have 24 state chapters, and what I mean by that is people who have agreed to stand up publicly to support the second king, Hyunjim and Yeonim. And so there, you can see all the you know, Washington State, Oregon, California, Nevada, Colorado, Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, let's see, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, of course, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and also in Canada, Quebec, and North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. So people are standing up, and people are waking up. And I actually like to invite one sister from Maryland. She had this amazing dream about Father and about Hyunjin, and I'd like to invite Andrea Pfister to come up. Where are you, Andrea? Yeah, please come up. She has an amazing dream. So, yeah. So, welcome, Andrea. Please.
Thank you very much. I'm going to try very briefly. I'm original from Mexico.
저는 원래 그 멕시코 출신입니다.
I joined the church over there, and then
멕시코에서 입교했고,
and I was matched by Mrs. Hirikawa. She know me that I,
해주셨습니다.
for almost 9 years and a half, I was like a mama figure in Fort West 43rd Street, guiding the Spanish people, which one of my spiritual son is right there, which, you know, he helps in the kitchen, Carlos.
믿음의 아들도 여기 있습니다.
And then, well, I'm going to tell you, it's the first time we are here, my husband and me.
오늘 남편과 함께
But
처음 왔습니다.
3 months ago,
그런데 3개월 전
I had a dream
꿈을
that
꿨습니다.
when I joined the church, I was a very Catholic person.
제가 입교했을 당시에는
And in my 7 days
목사였습니다.
worship, I dreamed Jesus, which
예수님
he was close to true father, and Tony 3 times follow him. So
아버님하고 매우 가깝다고 하는 것을 확인할 수 있었습니다.
something similar happened to me 3 months ago. Like
3개월 전에도 비슷한 꿈을 꿨습니다.
I dreamed like I was getting ready to go to Sunday service.
주일 예배 참석하기 위해서 준비하는 꿈이었습니다.
I opened the door and I saw only 5 people sitting inside the
근데 교회
place.
문을 열어보니까 그저 5명밖에 안 앉아 있어요.
And I was thinking, I'm in the wrong place.
이건 그 잘못됐다.
I left
다른 데 왔나 보다 했습니다.
I left the place
그래서 떠났습니다.
and I was walking on the street.
그리고 길을 걸어가고
And then I saw, probably some of you knows Mr. Reverend Desmond Green.
데스먼드 그린
Which
씨를 봤습니다.
We were together in New York.
뉴욕에서 함께
He was walking in the opposite way with
반대 방향으로 걸어가고 있어요.
3 Japanese sisters.
그 일본 여성 식구 3명이 함께 있었습니다.
And he told me, "Hi, Andrea, where are you going?"
어디 가냐고 저한테 묻는 거예요. 그분이.
And I said, "Well, I don't know. I think you know." I was ready to join the Sunday service, but nobody's there. I saw only 5 people.
아무도 없다. 5명밖에 없습니다.
Bye.
안녕히 가세요.
2 blocks, later,
네, 계속 걸어가는데
Mrs. Erikawa, saw me and, "Hi, Andrea.
에리카
Hi, Mrs. Erikawa." She took my hand,
그 회장님이 오시는 거예요.
and then, she said, "I'm going to take you where the kingdom of heaven is growing.
지금 그
Please follow me."
하나님의 나라가 가는 곳으로 당신을 인도하겠다.
But, she took my hand and she was grabbing me, right?
제 손을 좀
So I follow her.
끌고 가는 것이 가시는 거예요. 끌고 가시는
We
거예요.
entered inside of the place and she told me,
그래서 어떤 곳으로 들어갔는데
"Go upstairs
그 2층을 올라가라고 하십니다.
and I see you there."
거기서 만나자고.
And okay, so I come up
그래서 2층 올라갔더니
and then 현진님 was in front.
앞에 형제님 서 계십니다.
He was sitting there and he says, "Welcome.
잘 왔다고 하십니다.
I was waiting for you."
너를 기다리고 있었다고 하십니다.
I say, "How do you know me?"
어떻게 저를 아십니까? 라고 제가 물었습니다.
He stand up. He says,
일어서시고
"What do you think? God
어떻게
forget all those good things you did in New York?"
하나님 당신이 뉴욕에서 했던 그 많은 좋은 일을 하나님이
He
잊을 거라고
says,
생각했냐?
"Come.
오라고 하십니다.
God
이리 오라고.
never forget what you did over there. He always remember
당신이 뉴욕에서 했던
when
일을
we do
하나님은 절대
something good."
잊지 않을 것이다.
And he hugged me.
우리가 하는 좋은 일을 하나님께서 언제나 기억하고 계시다고 하시는
And then I was
그리고
watching your face.
그리고 형제님의 그 얼굴을 제가 바라보니까
Close to you was true father.
그 가까이에 참 아버님이 계신 겁니다.
And true father told me,
그리고 아버님께서 말씀해 주셨습니다.
"Follow him. He is the son that I trust the most."
이 아들 따라가. 내가 가장 믿는 아들이다. 라고 하십니다.
And then I was looking
그리고 제가
Where?
계속
at the
찾아봤습니다.
voice again. "Do you understand? Follow him. He is the son that I trust the most."
또 말씀하시는 겁니다. 내가 하는 말 알아듣냐? 내가 가장 믿는
And he was
아들이다.
hugging me.
이 아들을
And the third time,
따라가라고 하시는 겁니다. 그리고 세 번째,
"Do you hear me?"
내
And I
말을
saw
들었냐?
true father's face close to him.
그리고 아버님 얼굴이
He says,
옆에 있는 모습을
"Follow him.
이 아이를,
He is the
이
son
아들을, 이
that I
아들을
trust the most." 3 times.
내가 가장 믿는 아들이다. 세 번 그렇게 저한테
So he took
말씀하셨어요.
my hand
그리고 제
and he
손을
told me,
잡으시고
"Come, I'm going to show you where the kingdom of heaven is going to be." So
하늘 나라가 어디에 있을
he
것인지
opened a door
보여주겠다고
and a
그래서 문을
place,
열고
like a gospel, a place that was
그리고
kind of bright and millions of people, millions of people.
수백만 수천만의 그 사람들이 있는
And then
곳으로
he told me,
보여주셨습니다. 이리 오라고 하셨습니다.
"Welcome to the kingdom of heaven."
여기가 그 하늘 나라에 어서 왔다고 하시는 것입니다.
And my dream, was over. So immediately,
꿈이 깼습니다.
I called to
그리고 바로 저는
some sisters who they already, they were coming here.
이미 산출이에 가고 있는
And then I shared to my dream to
그리고
my family, which, I have
제 꿈을
kind of a small church in Puebla City, Mexico, because I have many spiritual children, many, more than 27.
페브라 시티라는 도시에
And then I preach every other Sunday by Skype.
믿음의 자녀들이 27명 있고 제가 스카이프를 통해서 거기 설교를 2주에 한 번씩 하고 있습니다.
But always,
그런데
according to True Father's words all the time. So until this point,
아버님 말씀 가지고 설교하고 있습니다.
the reason why I came here because I was looking for the truth.
제가 진리를 찾다가
Because
오게 된 겁니다.
My spiritual trainers, they always call me
믿음의 자녀들
and they say, who we have to follow.
하고 우리가 누구를 따라가야
We are
될지
confused. We don't know where are we going.
어디로 가는지 모르겠습니다. 이렇게 저에게 말합니다.
And as my responsibility, I know, is to know and to find out where I have to go.
자니까 그들이 어디로 가야 되는지 제가 알아봐야죠.
And I think, I'm in the place that the kingdom of heaven is growing. So I am,
저는 이제
my husband and me, I think,
저와 남편은
we are in the right place.
이제 올바른
Thank you so
곳으로
much.
왔습니다. All right, next I'd like to ask Christian Seeberger to come up and give us a report about Europe. Christian lives in Germany, and he has been in charge of the Unification Sanctuary movements in Europe.
Yeah, good morning. So after this very moving testimony, I try to come back with some facts and let you know some
아주 감동적인 간증을 들었는데 이제 좀더
some German style,
팩트 사실을
some numbers.
독일식으로 통계로 보고하겠습니다.
Europe is a big continent.
유럽은 큰 대륙입니다.
Yonjanim asked me last year
그리고
to
형제는 작년에
help coordinate because
거기서 그 생처리 활동을
there are many,
지도하라고 하셨습니다.
also many members who are guided by God and having dreams and
많은 식구들이
and
하나님의
experience
인도를
and
받고 꿈도
following their
꾸고,
conscience.
여러 가지 경험도 하고 있습니다.
We can see so many ways God is working. Like this sister is a very special.
지금
But many
말씀하신
brothers and
자매처럼
sisters living in
하나님
Siberia or remote areas of Russia or Norway or Finland
아주
who never saw Father much in their life,
시베리아라든가
but God guided them as well.
그래 아버님 계실 때도 한 번도 뵙지 못한 사람들이 그런데 지금은 하나님의 인도를 받고 아버님을 따라가고 있습니다.
So they had to rely on what they were told by leaders for many years.
오랫동안 그냥 그저 가정연합 지도자들이 하는 말을 그대로 받아들일 수밖에 없었습니다.
And they're very thankful now they can receive. I don't know what we would do if we wouldn't have internet.
이제는 인터넷이라는 것이 있으니까 인터넷이 없었으면은 큰일 날 뻔했습니다. 다른 이제 올바르게 인도를 받을 수 있습니다.
So there are so many countries in Europe and Europe and Russian continent. So among those many countries, there are sanctuary representatives in 17.
지금은
70
통일
countries.
성전 대표가 이제 17개 나라에 지금 있습니다.
And there are another
그리고 그
5
외에도
countries where there are members
5개
active,
나라에는
but they did not
통일
choose
성전
a leader yet.
따르는 사람들이 있습니다만 참여하는 사람이 있습니다만 아직 지도자를 뽑지 않았습니다.
So these are more than 200 blessed
그래서,
couples who returned to True Father's authority so far.
지금까지 200상 이상 축복 가정이 아버님의 권한권으로 돌아왔습니다.
And there are more than 60 children from small to grown-up age.
이 세에는 그 60명 이상
And quite some of them in a young age singing about going to be matched and blessed. And for them it's a very terrible thing that happened because they have a long how to say, the parents have a long course, and now when the children grow up and they kept the faith, and then as the church splits up.
이 세대들은 특히 전교육을 받았죠. 왜냐하면 지금까지 오랫동안 그 이세길을 걸어왔는데 이제 그 축복 받을 때가 되니까 교회가 분열돼 버리니까
But
특히 청적입니다.
I came here, there's a blessing workshop, and I saw many young
근데
boys and girls here. So I'm hopeful that everybody, God has a right
여기 축복
husband and wife for every young person.
수련회가 있었습니다. 그걸 보니까 젊은 사람들이 많이 있는 것을 보고 저는 희망을 가졌습니다. 모든 이 세대들은 역시 상대가 아버님께서 상대를 준비해 주시는구나라고 느꼈습니다.
So brothers and sisters in Europe are not only active in Europe, it's we are the old continent. So we have, I just tell you the languages where Hyunjinim speeches are translated to.
유럽에는 언어가 많습니다. 그래서 지금 형제님 그 설교가 어떤 언어로 번역되고 있는지 지금 나열하겠습니다.
So there are websites and many internet forums where they're discussing.
웹사이트가 있습니다.
So we have to do it in German,
독일어,
in Italian,
이탈리아어,
Spanish,
스페인어,
Russian,
러시아어,
Moldovan,
몰도바어,
like also Portuguese.
그리고 포르투갈어.
And there's a mixture. No? Spanish and Portuguese is done by the South Americans now. So they have the Europeans and
스페인어하고 포르투갈어는 이제 남미에서 번역이 되고 있습니다.
the French brothers and sisters are reaching out to French-speaking African nations and South America. So there's a lot of interconnection from Europe.
프랑스에 있는 동유성정 식구들은 그 아프리카에 있는 저 불어권 국가에 있는 사람들에게도 연락하고 있습니다.
The Constitution was already formally translated into Russian. It's available as a booklet.
전국 헌법이 이미 러시아어로 번역됐고
We are working on it in German and in other languages.
그리고 지금 독일어도 하고 있습니다.
So it's too long to go in all those communities. I just show you representatively some pictures of some communities.
모든
yeah.
활동을
Can you show up the
보여드리기에는
pictures?
시간이 너무 많이 걸립니다. 그래서 주된 것만 제가 사진으로 소개하겠습니다.
So this is a meeting in London.
런던 저 모임 모양입니다.
There are more than 40 sanctuary supporters.
런던에는
Young and old, second generation, first generation,
선전 지원 지지자가 40명 이상이
and
있습니다.
quite some members they are strongly guided through Father appearing in our meetings and guiding them strong spiritual experiences.
식구들이 모였을 때 아버님께서 그 자리에 오시고 그리고 사람들이 아버님께 계시는 것을 저 환상으로 보이는
Next.
경우도 있습니다.
Next one, please. So this was a blessing ceremony done in Slovakia.
슬로바키아에서의 축복식입니다.
There have been, I think, 7 couples. When
일곱
it's a
살.
very small country, most of people don't know where Slovakia even is in the world. You know.
여러분
But,
거의 모든 사람 슬로바키아가 어디 있는지도 모르시죠? 아주 작은 나라입니다.
Next one, please.
다음
Then there was the 7-day workshop in Moldova.
몰도바에서의 7일 수련회입니다.
So there have, I don't know how many people. We must have been more than 30 people, 40 people in that workshop.
40명.
Many new guests,
새로운-
new guests, not the
새로운
members
게스트,
only.
뭐 식구가 아니고
First and second
새로운
generation,
사람들이
and
상당히
there's
많습니다. 그 2세,
Elena, one sister, very active,
고인 에레나가
and
아주
several
자기가
groups in
굉장히
Russia.
활동적입니다.
There's,
그리고
you know, Europe is so much full of historical conflict.
유럽에는 역사적으로 여러 가지 갈등이 있죠. 대립이 있죠.
In 1978, when Father did a blessing in London and a matching, he mostly matched the Europeans among the Europeans.
78년 아버님께서 런던에서 축복을 하셨는데 그때는 거의 유럽 사람끼리
Because there are many things to be solved, you know. There's the Latin, Italian culture, the German, the Russian, very different cultures, very different people, very different policies.
여러 가지 유럽 안에서 여러 가지 역사적인 문제가 많습니다.
A lot of history, and of course our sanctuary members, not all are perfect members.
우리 생체리
It's like in Jesus' time, the fishermen and the farmers and
인격이
the
완성된 건
money
아닙니다.
changers and
그래서 뭐
I don't know the prostitutes, I don't know the history, but
예수님처럼
we are not the
뭐
champions. We are the those who hear, listen to God's word.
여러 가지
So
사람들이죠.
we bring a lot of conflict into our communities. We are not perfect,
생체리
Yeah.
공동체 안에도 여러 가지
and
대립이 있는 거예요.
you know. But always when I talk to the king about how to deal with it, and somebody says the king should do something about here, and you should not allow this, and headquarters should do that. But he always says you have to solve it on the local level.
그래서
So
이런
let everybody
문제를
be free
왕께
and responsible
건의하고
and learn to deal with your differences
그
and your
유럽
problems
안에서는
and with your
본부에서 어떻게 하라.
immaturities and whatever.
그 본부가 어떻게 해결하는 것을 기대하는데 왕께서는 항상 그렇지 않다. 현지에서 해결하라고 하십니다. 그것이 자기가 책임이라고 하십니다.
So we are a European cyber community. Usually we don't meet to
유럽 안에서도
practice
함께,
love.
모일
So
수는
we have
없습니다.
to ask in
넓으니까.
our prayer and try to do as good as we can. And
최선을 하고 있습니다.
yeah, but I think also it's not growing super fast. But I see there's a growth in the depths.
고속으로 성장하는 것은
And we are
아닙니다.
Europeans, so we want to be honest and we want to be true and we don't want to show off and make a story. So we focus on that and give everybody the time and the freedom to develop and don't charge. And please don't think because that person has a problem, Sanctuary has a problem. Yes. This is our personal problems and we have to grow. And we give everybody the time to grow and be forgiving and patient with each other.
서로를 용서하고 서로 인내를 하는 것이 필요합니다.
There have been so many conflicts in Moldova, even involving the police and big conflict. But the sister there told me now they withdraw the accusation in front of the police to open a way for peace and reconciliation and calm down the situation and try to be a good example, better than those who don't follow the second king. So another picture, there's one more. It's, I think the next one is on the holy ground. It's also in Moldova.
몰도바 성지의 모습입니다.
The next picture. So, and this is another story. I wanted to put more picture, but I had a problem with the computer. We are not only doing spiritual work, because always the king is talking about self-reliance and judgment. This is my son is digging a 4,000-liter water cistern to make, how to say, like a farming style where we live close by. So we encourage everybody to be self-relying.
자족을 위해서 물을 저장하려고 이렇게 저 땅을 파는 것입니다.
Okay, we can finish off the pictures. I think that's all.
사진은 그만입니다.
That's all we had in the pictures. So I have more than a full-time job. So, but still we could make it in the past year. I could meet the Italian brothers and sisters in Italy. I was in UK, Poland, in Slovakia, in Austria. And we have some of the European members come here. So there's Hermann already, the flute. Yes, saw him. Sanctuary in Austria. And there's Anna from Poland. Anna is also here. Yeah, from Poland and her son. There's your son.
아들이 왔죠?
So we have a very active community in Italy, in Spain. In Spain, there's Juan Pique, who is in a healing, how do you say? That's his job of physical healing, but also not only physical, but spiritual, mental growth. And they told me they do a hunduke every morning, spread out, brothers and sisters, via Skype, internet. Every morning, 6 o'clock, here's a community is doing hunduke.
스페인에서는 온라인 훈독회를 매일 아침 하고 있습니다.
Yeah, so I cannot go through all of the many things going on, but you can imagine it is spread out and it's all kind of different cultures and languages. But we feel somehow God is strongly working. And there are so many brothers and sisters who are in between, or somehow support the king but don't fully speak up or don't want to cut off the relationship. All of these are not counted in our numbers, but there are many. But I think a lot of them have a fear and are worried. And in Europe, we have no direct access. We are not in Korea. They didn't see Father so much, though they don't know whom they can trust. So they consider the king maybe right or is right, but they still don't cut off fully. But we believe that God can guide them and they can come step by step. Yesterday when I prepared this short notice, I remembered that there's in the school we had the speech of Martin Luther King, and he said, "I have a dream." You know, this very famous speech. 1967, I think, a few years before Father came.
나는 그 꿈을 나에게는 꿈이 있다는 그 연설을 하는 거 여러분들 기억하시죠?
And I felt God not only has a dream for America, but God has a dream for Europe and Russia.
미국을 위한 꿈이
And this is
아니고
unfolding
유럽을 위해서 또
underneath.
러시아를 위해서
Members are growing,
있으시고
and there's a strong
이루어지고
spiritual activity going on. Thank you very much. This was a short report from Europe.
Next, I'd like to call on Reverend Lee Sang-yeol, who is the head of the Sanctuary Church in Korea.
안녕하십니까. 한국회장 이상열입니다.
My name is Lee Sang-yeol, and I'm the head of the Unification Sanctuary in Korea.
오늘 왕님 양해 분과 국진 이사장님 양해 분을 모시고 이렇게 한국 보고 드리기 위해서 너무
It's an
감사드립니다.
honor for me to be able to give this report in the presence of the King and Queen and a Kukjinim couple.
포인트가 필요합니다. 제 보고 시간은 10분입니다.
I'm going to take 10 minutes.
제가 연습을 호텔에서
I
해봤는데
practiced at the hotel.
정상적으로 하면 1시간이 필요합니다.
And if I were to do this normally, as normal, it would take me an hour.
두 번째 빨리 하니까 17분이 필요합니다.
And then I did it a second time very fast, and it took 17 minutes.
그런데 오늘 10분 해야 됩니다.
But I'm going to do it in 10 minutes today.
네, 바로 들어가겠습니다.
I will start right away.
네, 제가 작년
I was
5월
appointed in May of last year.
3월 8일 날
Sorry, March.
이곳에서 임명을
in March
받고
8th of last year.
2개월 준비 기간을
And I
거쳐서
prepared for 2 months,
5월 1일 날
and I began on May 1st.
한국 협회와
That was when the
서울 성전을 시작을 했습니다.
Korea Sanctuary and also the Seoul Sanctuary was founded.
2015년도에는
2015
11개의
We established
성전과 훈독소가 생겼습니다.
11 sanctuaries and hundok churches around Korea.
이런
And
이제
these are photos of
성전들이
2015 and the different
생기게
sanctuaries around the
되었습니다.
country.
그리고
And then
올 지금
this year,
8월
as
현재
of August,
25개의
we have 25
성전과 훈독소가
sanctuary
있습니다.
sanctuaries and hundok churches around the country.
네, 한번 보시겠습니다.
And these are those photos.
이렇게 성전들의 현황이
And these
있습니다.
show you the various congregations that we have.
다음은
And next, I'd like to report
고난권
about the
축복에 대한 보고
blessing of a couples
드리겠습니다.
returning to True Father's authority.
서울
And
성전에서는
at the Seoul
작년
Sanctuary,
5월 24일
we
날
had our first blessing on May
처음
24th.
18쌍으로 축복을
That was an
시작했습니다.
18 couple blessing that we had last
그리고
year in
작년
May.
연말까지
And then by the end of last year,
480쌍의
we were able to bless
축복을
480
봉헌드렸습니다.
couples.
그리고 올해
And
현재까지
so far this year, we
940쌍의
have
축복을
blessed another
봉헌드리게 되었습니다.
940 couples.
네, 감사합니다. 그리고 예배
And
현황
This is Sunday
말씀드리겠습니다.
attendance figures.
지금 서울 성전에
Our average Sunday attendance for the Seoul Sanctuary
120명을 평균으로 해서
average is 120.
전국의 성전과 훈독소에서 그리고 한국에 적을 둔 일본과 미국의 성전에서
And also
예배가 진행되고
we
있습니다.
have,
지금
sanctuaries not only
현재
in Korea, but also there is a
매주
congregation in Japan
예배
that's connected to the
인원은
Korean sanctuary, and also
증가되고
2
있는
sanctuaries in the
그런
United States.
입장에 있습니다.
And right now the average Sunday
요거는
attendance is increasing.
서울
And
성전
this is the
예배 현황이
congregation
되겠습니다.
in Seoul, the Sunday attendance in Seoul that you see.
다음은 교육
Our,
현황을 말씀을
education
드리겠습니다.
activities.
교육은 지도자 교육
We have leadership education.
그리고 아버님께서
And
앞으로는 영년세 협회를 중심하고
Father said that in the future,
치리되어야 된다는 말씀을
the
주신 게
province would be
있습니다.
conducted
그래서
by the
영년세
Physical World
협회
Association.
모임을
And so
가졌습니다.
we've had a meeting about that.
그리고 원리
about that.
수련과
And we've
본체론 수련을
divine principle
계속 지금
workshops
진행하고
and
있습니다.
OSTP workshops.
아버님께서는 해양 섭리를 통해서
emphasize very much the oceanic
앞으로
provenance,
미래의 식량 문제와
especially in terms of
그리고
solving
취미
the food
활동과
problem
그리고
and
복지
as a
섭리
hobby.
시대는 모자 협조 시대지만
And he said
천일국 시대는
that the
부자
age of
협조 시대라고
restoration, the era of
말씀을
restoration was a
주셨습니다.
mother-son cooperation,
그런가 하면 일본
천일국
그
era of
여성들을
the
한국에 와
father-son
있는
cooperation.
7천 명을 여기에 일본 총회장이신 에리카와 회장을 중심하고 그
Now there
훈련을 시키시기도 하셨습니다.
And our father
그것은
before
바로
Songhwa,
전 세계
trained
지도자
7,000
교육을
Japanese wives.
해양을 통해서 아버님은 교육을
And,
시켜왔다는
so
것입니다.
father used the ocean for education.
그러나 지금
now,
그 아버님 성화 이후에
After Father Songhwa the
가정연합에서는
Family Federation
해양 섭리를 축소시키고
has
해양
diminished the
섭리가
oceanic
계속 저하되는 그런 가운데 있기 때문에
providence. And it is going down for them.
우리가 왕님을
And so-
모시고 있는 생출에서는
So we in
해양
the sanctuary
섭리를 시작하지
have,
않을 수
felt that it
없고
was very
또
important for us
해양
to
섭리를
pick up this,
앞으로도 발전시켜 나가지
oceanic providence
않을 수 없기
and to
때문에
develop this as Father wanted it.
시작을
And
하고
so
있습니다.
we have made it
그런가
begin.
하면 네, 감사합니다. 그런가 하면 우리는 천일국을
And
이루어
so
나가기 위해서는
for us to
가장
accomplish
중요한 게
The most important
축복입니다.
thing is a blessing.
그래서 지금 축복을 6회에 걸쳐
We've
가지고
had 6 blessings
지금
so far.
수련을 시켜왔습니다.
Six,
사진으로
blessing workshops.
보겠습니다.
We've had
요거는
six blessing workshops.
지도자
This is the
교육에 대한
leadership,
부분이
education that you
되겠습니다.
see.
그리고 이거는 영년세
And this is the
모임에
Spirit
대한
World,
부분이
Physical
되겠습니다.
World Association meeting.
이것은 원리 수련에
And
대한 부분이
Divine
되겠습니다.
Principle workshops here.
요거는 성화
And
수련에
the,
대한 부분이
the
되겠습니다.
Songhwa workship.
이거는
That's the student,
축복 대상자 수련이
teenagers
되겠습니다.
workshop.
다음은
And then we've been
지금
building our systems.
우리가 이제 이대 왕님을 모시고 그동안 아버님 계실 때 준비해온 가정연합의 모든 부분들이 다 사탄 주관권으로
Everything that
떨어졌기
Father
때문에
prepared has been,
다시
was taken
우리는
to Satan.
시작하지 않을
And so we
수가
had to,
없습니다.
begin
그런
from the
입장에서
beginning again.
지금 협회를
And so we have created a
창설
new
창립해서 이 협회 홈페이지 모습이
nonprofit organization,
되겠습니다.
and this is our
이
website.
협회 홈페이지에 들어오게 되면
And if you go in
지금
here,
한국에 대한
you can
전반적인
see,
성전
all the
활동을
infinite
보실
information,
수가
the
있습니다.
evangelical activities
그런가
that's going on in
하면
Korea.
지금 그 미국 생초리와
And also
일본
we have
생초리를
links here
연결해서
to the
그
U.S. sanctuary and the
연결되어
Japanese sanctuary.
있는 시스템이 되어 있습니다. 다음은
And this is our
유튜브를 통해서
YouTube channel.
왕님께서 작년 말씀
The-
이후 한국에서도 이 유튜브를 통해서 많은
The
홍보
King's,
활동을 진행하고
sermons,
있습니다.
have been distributed to many
페이스북을
Koreans,
통해서도
through this.
마찬가지가
This is our Facebook
되겠습니다.
page.
옐로우
And
아이디
also there's something called the
이
Yellow ID.
시스템은 지금 우리가 약 7천 명이
About
그
7,000 people
자료를 확보해서 한목에 우리가 자료를 이 7천 명에 바로 써 보낼 수 있는
are signed up here,
그런
and we can
시스템이
send
지금 현재
materials to
구축이 되어
7,000
있습니다.
people at once.
그리고 축복
And
대상자를
this is,
위한 매칭 시스템도
We
준비가 되어
also
있습니다.
have a blessing and matching system.
그리고 영상을 통해서
We use
지금
video
교육과 또
for
예배를
education.
함께
And also,
진행할 수도 있고
so that people can
화상
participate
회의를
in our,
진행할 수도 있는
worship services
이런
as well.
시스템을 갖추어서 활용을 하고 있습니다. 다음은
And then this is information on people who have visited
우리가
the
성지
United States, who have
순례를
come to Pennsylvania.
이 펜실베니아로
And
오게
is to take
되는데
the tour of the Holy Ground
우리가
in Pennsylvania.
작년 1월 18일 왕님께서 침묵을 깨고 이
After-
말씀을 하기 전에는 아버지의 심정도 우리는 알지 못했습니다.
Before the
그리고
king's sermon
이대
breaking the
왕,
silence, we did not understand Father's heart.
양해분이 그리고
And
자녀분들이
we did not-
어떻게 사시는지도
We did not even
몰랐습니다.
know how
역사상에
the second
처음으로
king, as couple or their children were living.
가인과 아벨이 승리하셨는데 그 승리하신 분들이 어떻게 사신지도 우리는
Even though Cain and
몰랐습니다.
Abel had been victorious, we did not know what they
바로
were doing.
그것이 작년
But
1월 18일
that sermon
침묵을 깨고
on January 18th,
말씀을
breaking the
시작하면서
silence,
우리가
gave us
알게
that information.
되었습니다. 이곳은 단순히 이 성전이 아니라 바로 이곳에는 아버지의 심정이
And we
살아있는
understood that
곳이고
this was not just a regular
이대
sanctuary, but Father's
왕님께서
heart was living here, was alive here,
이 하나님의 섭리 속에
and that the second king was working within the context of God's providence.
지상에 하나님께서 창조하신 아담이나 또 독생자인 예수님이나 아버님은 하늘로부터 오신 분들이십니다. 그러나 그 참 정자에
Adam
의해서
and, Jesus
참
and,
혈통으로
Father are people,
처음
all are
결실을
people who,
맺은 분이
came
우리
from
앞에
heaven.
계시는
But the
이대
first fruit
왕님이십니다.
of their
큰
providence is
박수로
the second king
우리가
who is here with us.
감사드립니다. 바로 이곳은
And so this place
아버지의 심정이
is the place
살아있는
where
곳이고
Father's heart
이대
lives.
왕님을 통해서
And through the second king,
그 삶을 우리가 심정적으로 그
is the
사랑을
place where we
느낄
can
수
feel
있는
Father's
현장이
life
바로
and
이곳입니다.
Father's heart.
그런가 하면 참 가인이
And it's also a place
이제
where the true king,
아버님의 뜻을 중심하고
centering on Father's
이대
will,
왕님을 어떻게 모시는지
is
그
attending
모시는
the second king.
현장을 우리가
And we can witness how
심정적으로
he is doing that.
사랑으로
And we can
느낄 수 있는
we can see-
현장이
we can
바로
feel that through our
이곳입니다.
heart and through
그래서
love.
우리는 감사합니다. 작년 참 아버님
So last year,
성화 일을 시작으로 해서
we started
현재
coming to
이번까지
Pennsylvania.
183명이
told now,
이 성지
183
순례를
people have come to
오게
Pennsylvania
되었습니다.
during the past year.
오늘 우리 한국 식구들을
Today
위해서도 좀
we have
한번
some
박수 한번
Korean
보내주시면 감사하겠습니다.
visitors here today. Please give them a round of applause.
우리는
And
이곳에
so this is what
와서
we have
여러
done here in
가지
Pennsylvania.
활동을 통해서 그 심정을 상속받고
We've
어제는
inherited Father's heart this way. And
우리 국진
yesterday,
이사장님께서 만들어 놓으신
we went
그
to Kuchin's,
총공장에서 우리가 사격
factory.
연습을
We also
어제
practiced
하고
the shooting yesterday.
참으로
And
감동적인
it was very moving.
그런 한 날이 되었습니다.
It was a very
우리
moving day
국진
for us.
이사장님 양해분께서 큰 박수
Let's
한번
give a
보내주시기
round of
바랍니다.
applause to Kukchin's couple.
대단히 감사드립니다.
Thank you very much.
다음은 해양 섭리로
And then,
조금 전에 말씀을 드리기 때문에
The Oceanic Providence,
넘어가겠습니다.
I already mentioned that.
이 부분은
And this is our Oceanic Providence
예.
activities.
아버님의 해양 섭리의 종착점은
Father's
거문도의
Oceanic
해양
Providence
천정궁이십니다.
was centered on the Komundo
그런데
Island.
천정궁도
And
지금
the Cheonjeonggung Palace on that island.
가정연합으로 넘어가서
But now that also
사탄
has been
주관권으로
taken by
떨어졌습니다.
Family Federation and has
예,
fallen into
그런데
Satan's realm.
놀라운
So,
역사는
but now the amazing thing is that
서울 성전에 이 정성팀이 생겨서 지금
We had a
신방을
prayer team.
하면서
We had a prayer team,
정성을 드리고 있는
in
중에
the, Seoul Sanctuary.
그분들을
We were visiting,
12명이 방문을 하게 되었습니다.
visiting people's homes.
예,
And
그 중에
they received
한
that they should go
분인
to the Komun Island.
길원정 권사께서
And then one of the people who
이
visited
지금
Komundo
그 거문도에다가 집을
has
한
now,
채 사두었었습니다.
had bought a house
그런데
in,
이
on Komun
집을
Island.
해양 천정국으로
And so now
이
we've
해양
named
수련소로
that as the
아버님
Oceanic
앞에
Workshop,
봉헌을 드렸어요.
work,
한번 큰
and
박수 한번 보내주시기
the
바랍니다.
training center,
감사합니다.
and as the new Cheonjeonggung Palace on Komun
예,
Island.
그곳에 여기 이렇게
And so
보시면
we've put up a sign. I like to say that.
여기 이렇게
Here you see him putting up a sign
거문도
that
해양
identifies this
수련소라고
as the Komun
지금
Island
간판을
Oceanic Training
붙이고
Center.
있습니다. 그리고 여기에 가서 낚시를 했는데
We did some
이렇게
fishing
아주
there,
큰 고기를
we
낚기도 하고
caught some big fish that you see there.
저기에 1차 수련 때에는
now on the first
이태리에서 온
workshop, we had a person
식구와
from
일본
Italy
식구, 한국
and
식구가 참석을 해서
Japanese member also came.
시작부터 국제적인
And so it was
그런
very international
출발로
atmosphere
시작을
from the beginning.
했습니다. 이것은
And this is,
일본의
this is in Japan,
식구가
a
지금
Japanese
그
member,
해양 섭리를 위해서 3배가 되겠습니다.
purchased this boat for the Oceanic Providence.
여기에는 한국 협회의 미래와 천일국에 대한 그런 내용인데
future of the Korean church in Cheonilguk.
이 내용이 길기
And
때문에
this is a long content.
가장 중요한
But the
거는
most important thing,
참 아버님의 뜻을 받들어서
we uphold Father's will.
이대 왕님 네 분을
and
중심 삼고
centering on the
3대
second king,
왕권을
that we will
세워드리는데
establish
우리 한국
establish the
성전이
three-generation
그
kingdom.
책임을 다해서
We would accomplish our
우리의
responsibility for
갖추어진
that.
그 역량을 아시아 쪽으로
And so that
연결 발전시켜 나갈
we
수
hope
있도록
to, be
노력하겠습니다.
able to spread our
대단히
influence
감사합니다.
to the rest of Asia as well. Thank you.
이거 한 가지만 더
Let me do this.
말씀드리면
Just one more thing.
제가
This is from the
3월
Bible.
달에 작년
Job
3월
9,
달에
10 to 12.
한국으로
Last March,
출발하기 전에
Before I left for Korea,
왕님께서
the king
이 성경을 펴보라고
told
하신
me to
내용이
open the
되겠습니다.
Bible to randomly, and this is where I
여기에
opened.
보게 되면
And,
10절만 훈독하겠습니다.
I'll just read verse 10.
총량할 수 없는
Which doeth great things,
큰 일들을
finding
셀
out.
수 없는 귀한 일들을 행하느니라 이렇게 말씀하고 있습니다. 이러한 내용들이 실체적으로
That is
지금
what is
한국
actually happening
교회에서는
in Korea.
또 한국 성전에서는 이루어지고 있다 하는 것을 말씀드리고 이러한 결과는 바로 참 아버님의 성령 역사를 우리 이대 왕님께서 일으키고 있기 때문에 가능한 것이라는 것을 증거를 드리면서 제 말씀을 마치겠습니다. 감사합니다.
I'd like to now call on Mrs. Erikawa to come up and give a report on Japan.
예, このように、今報告をいただいたんですが、私も10分と言われていますが
I、was also told 10 minutes.
アメリカはアンドレラの証を入れて13分でした。
Richard Penzolo took 13 minutes, including the
ヨ
testimony.
ヨーロッパは11分でした。
Was 11 minutes.
イサイアル会長は嘘を言いました。
but
10分ではありません、15分でした。
And Reverend Lee told us a lie. He didn't take 10 minutes. It was 15 minutes.
で、私は
So me,
言ったんですね。
I said in the beginning,
韓国よりも 1分短くやりますと。
Korea does, I will do 1 minute less. That was my commitment from the beginning.
私も嘘を言わないように努力します
I。will try not to tell a lie.
私たちは天運の導きの中でこの1年を過
We've
ごし
been
ました
spending the past year in the guidance of Heavenly Fortune.
昨年7月4日でしたけれども
July 4th,
お父様が私のところに現れられました
appeared to me.
目の前に来ら
He
れて
came right in front of me.
エリカは
He said, Erikawa,
家庭連合から統一教会から天運が去ったや
Heavenly Fortune has left the Family Federation and the Unification Church.
それで私は
And so I said,
天運が去ったら国が滅びますね
well, if Heavenly
わかり
Fortune
ました
has left, then I
天
guess
運を
the
お預かりし
country
ますと
will be destroyed.
こ
So
のよう
I
に
will
申し上
take,
げ
I
て
will take
本
care of
格
that
的に
Heavenly
始めました
Heavenly Fortune. That's when I began working in earnest.
この1年間まさに
So for this past
お父
year,
様の天運
I've been
そして神様の恩恵の中で過ごさせていただきました。すべての栄光を天にお父様に、そして誠のお父様と共にあられる현진二大王様、そして本当に尊敬申し上げる私たちの会員の代表であられるプッチン人ご夫妻に心からまず感謝申し上げます。ありがとうございます。まずお父様の権威に戻る祝福をして私たちの先民を確立しなければなりませんのでそれを始めました。そうして東京でやりますというと全国各地から皆が飛んできました。そしてその後はこれ今北海道でしたけれどもこちらに来てくださいあちらに来てくださいということでこれは山梨です。それから名古屋に行きました。それから東京これは熊本です。 全国各地で来てください、来てくださいということで、国際家庭もおりますし、特殊な家庭もございましたが、お父様の権威に戻る祝福をしまして、この祝福が現在です。私たちは2月13日まで何とかして全体の目標が2100でしたから、日本が1200をしなければ2100は解決できないと思いまして、1200を目標にして1200層を勝利しました。今ここにサイバーチームの為様田会長もいるんですが、みんなで力を合わせましたね。そして1200を超えまして全体2100、そして今世界が3000層になりましたが、次は私たちは4300層の半分以上、2200を頑張りましょうということで、4300層の勝利に向かっております。現在日本は1500家庭ぐらい、3000家庭で王様は1万名とおっしゃるので、私たちは5000名ぐらいがいるのかと思います。それから、この家庭連合から抜けてくる人たちが心配するのは子どもたちの祝福です。あそこに行ったら祝福なんかできない。でどうするんだと。そのために抜けきれない人がおります。日本は組織が本当に強いです。組織信仰があまりにも強くて抜けきれないです。そして昨年のこのお父様の生は3周年の時に770されましたが、ここに何とか入れなければと一組参加させていただきました。そしてたくさんの愛をいただきました。そして次には今年の2月13日、5組の、はい、ここにおります、5組を連れてきました。そして王様から直接祝福を受け、サンクチャリーで祝福を受けた者たちは本当に幸せだと、そして明るく、身胸のために歩んでいるということを見せたいと思いましたが、今見せております。そのメンバーたち、何人かここに今来ております。スタッフになっております。たくさんの愛をいただきました。で、その時日本では15家庭のマッチング家庭のサテライトで祝福もしました。東京と名古屋でいたしました。そして、今年、お父様が最後に聖和式をされたのが2012年天暦3月3日でございましたが、この4周年、
最後の祝福式ですね。
最後のお父様がされた。早すぎますか？
聖和式って言われたので、祝福式です。
失礼しました。
So Father's final blessing was in 2012, the third day, third month by the heavenly calendar.
감사합니다. 예. 그래도 약속은 약속 때문에.
I made a promise, so even though people say it's okay for me to go over, I should keep my promise.
でもこんなしてると時間が過ぎるわけですよ。
If I keep looking at watch, that'll take time.
で、その4周年の記念の時になんとかお父様を思いながらお父様に捧げたいと思いまして、3組のそれもお父様の守りと導きでマッチングに至るわけですけれども、3組が参りまして王様から祝福をいただきました。はい、本当に感謝申し上げます。そして、私たちは今一番力を入れておりますのは2世3世青年が未来を作りますから、このいかに2世3世青年たちを立ち上がらせるか、ここに一番力を入れております。その国の未来はその国の青年を見れば分かると言われます。ですから私たちのサンクチャリーのこの青少年を見てサンクチャリーの未来が分かると言われるようにしたいと思っております。 それでまず青年
So
担
first,
当を
we have
ほとんど
youth
が
director.
UCI の方に行ってます。訓
Most
練
of
され
the
た青年は。
young people in Japan have gone to UCI.
そ
to
して
the
家
Park
庭連
Group.
合に残っています
And some of them are still in
組
the
織
Family
が強
Federation.
く管理しますから出てきませ
Control
ん。
the young people very
私たちは新しく探さなければいけない。
organization. And so we had to
そういう
find
立場で
people, who could
青
come to
年
Sanctuary.
を探して何回かこうして集会をしてまいりました。まあ数々の集会をしまして、これはたこ焼きパーティーなどもしながら、ただ深刻ではない楽しいんだと、そして美味しく食べるものも食べるんだということを示しながらやってきました。そしてそういう内容でやはり王様のところで直接訓練を受けたいということで、今年の2月ですね、第1回国際青年セミナーをお許しいただいて、この青年たちが12名参加させていただきました。いや、私もサンキューメルバー、私もですね、19歳の時にお父様にお会いしました。そして一生涯変わらない一辺単身の心情がその時にできたんです。お父様のために人ができないことをやろうと決心することができたんです。だから青年たちも本当に若い時に王様と心情的に一つになって、そして絶対的に王様のために命を捧げていく、そういう青年になってほしい。で、今そういう青年が今立ち上がりつつあります。そして今年ゴールデンウィークというのが5月にございましたが、その時に全国の青年を集めようということで30名集めまして、そしてこの王様と連結をさせていただいて、私がこれはまだ私はバンドって言ってないです。はいはい。ちょっと早すぎました。写真が見つからないからなんですが、王様と連結をして御言葉をいただき、青年が全国各地に立ち上がるようになりました。そして青年部長を立てまして、青年部長が王様に私たちは何をしたらよろしいんでしょうかと伺いますと、まず聖書を勉強しなさい、そしてバンドを作りなさいと言われまして、帰ってきてすぐ青年部長はすぐ行動します。良くても悪くても何でもすぐ行動します。ですぐ行動してバンドを作りました。で、このバンドを見て親たちがちょっと寂しいねということで、私がピアノができる、私はバイオリンができる、私も参加しましょうということで、現在は10名、ギター、それからバイオリン、そしてピアノ、それからドラム、笛、いろいろなものを持ってきて、素晴らしい演奏をするようになっています。そして、家庭連合にですね、取り込まれているわけです。まっすぐな家庭の場合は。そして子どもたちも家庭連合の寮にいたわけです。これを救出しなければなりませんので、青年寮をまず優先して準備しました。あれ全部の建物ではありませんが、今2箇所、男性と女性の青年寮を作りました。そして青年たちは月に1回、集会をし、あるいは聖霊大学に一緒に参加しております。で、次に、青年ばかりじゃなくて子どもたちもしなければならないと、母親たちが立ち上がりまして、これは私の娘ですが、立ち上がりまして、子どもたちの子ども礼拝を始めました。親たちが立ち上がっております。 手作りのこの子ども礼拝ですけれどもやってきました。これは名古屋でやはり中高生セミナー組織ができています。それで私たち日本ではですね、親は特に母親は何かというと家出中のお母さんばかりでした。万物復帰に出かけ、宣教に出かけ、みなしごのように子供たちが育ってきました。これから私たちは家庭でみんなで楽しく生きましょうということで、子ども礼拝を一緒にやりながら青年も家族も集まって、これはマイクロバスですが26人乗り、それから乗用車が10台で、この釣り堀に行きまして、ここはサンクチャリーファーム、群馬のすぐ近くにあるところです。そこでニジマス20キロを放流しまして、だいたい180匹ぐらいです。180キロ、180匹ぐらい。で、見ながらどうぞ絵を見てください。こんなして、子供たちが僕も釣れた、私も釣れたとしています。はい。そしてこれを炭で塩焼きにして美味しく食べましたし、180匹もありますから、唐揚げにもし、またお土産も作って、それからあと残った魚を水を放流してつかみ取りしました。非常に水が冷たいです、静かな。それからスイカ割りをし、それから今度は親たちは、青年親たちはこのサンクチャリファームの草ぼうぼのどのくらいですかね、1000粒ぐらいあるんですけどね、そこの草取りをして、子どもたちはその間シャボン玉をして遊んでおりました。私たちはいずれにしましても2世3世青年たちが三大王権の希代となるように、2世3世私たちの宝です。本当に今回中学生と高校生が来ましたけれども、宝の中の宝が来ました。それから組織的には全国に広がる救命ボートです。現在60カ所に立ち上がっております。まさに家庭連合はセオル号のように、タイタニックのように今沈みかけているわけです。ですからこれを私たちは沈まないボートを用意しました。皆さん飛び降りてくださいと叫んでおります。で、今年中には124カ所、国の基盤を作って世界に出ていけるようにしようと思っております。また、お父様が日本は母の国なので世界に嫁に行かなければいけないと、すでに私が知っている限りは113カ国にお嫁にやりました。その日本の人たちが、あるいは宣教に出かけた人たちが世界中で頑張っております。夫を支え、ですから世界に大きな影響力を与える母の国になりたいと思っております。で、集まって全国会議をしまして、それから今は昨年の10月からビデオ会議をどんどん発表して、今は50人が参加できる、それを2回行うようにしております。それから各地で行われる礼拝です。まだ隠れている人がおりまして、熱心に大規模に礼拝をしているところもあるんですが、写真を撮る意識はありません。 でこれは
This is in
瀬戸
Hiroshima.
内海の島なんですが、
This is on
お
an
年寄りばかり
island, on an island
天地正教から来た
in the Inland Sea.
グループが全部こちらに
And,
来ました。
one group of people who had originally come from the Tenchi Seikyo, the entire group came to sanctuary.
ここは静岡浜松は
静岡にある
アーミッシュ方式で家庭を巡回しながら、ですから家庭が霊的にも霊的にも具体的にもこのボロ屋敷みたいなものがきれいになったと喜んで
People
言
say
いま
it's
す。
great because they get to clean their house before people come. They have to clean their house. So it's very wonderful for that.
これらがそういう
So these are various
あれ
worship
ですね。
services being held
あ
around
ち
the
らこちら
country.
でやっております。それから
And then we
祝
have one
福、
day blessing workshop.
私が一番長くなりそうです。私が大数値すいません。もう申し訳ありませんが、
I apologize.
祝福候補者セミナーです。
These are one-day workshops for blessing candidates.
でこれをワンデーセミナーとしまして、
These are one-day
原理講義
workshops.
と
We
それ
do
から祝
five
福の
principal
意義と
lectures
価値を
and the
やってきました。
significance and value of the
あちら
blessing.
こちらでです
And
ね、
we've
こう
done
いう
these
ふうに
around the country
して
as
き
well.
ました。そして今まで
And until
これ
now,
を今までですね、ちょっと私からは見えませんけれども、
I can't see them
12
here.
回、12回、
12 times
166名、
166
そのうちで
people
祝福候補者83名、
among them 88
2
were
世は
blessing
53名だ
candidates,
と思いますけれども、
53 second generation.
その教育をしてきました。
We've done
そして今、
education.
交流ができるように
And,
いろいろ紹介をしております。
We've introduced people to each other so
で
that they can communicate.
それからサンクチャリでは本当に私たち何もありませんので、みんな手作り
In
で
the
す。
sanctuary, we do
その中
everything,
で、
from
お父
scratch.
様おっしゃるように、
And as Father
人
said,
の
we
一生、
need
生
to
まれ
take
た
care
時、
of people's lives when they're,
封建式をして
when they're
神
born.
に捧げ、
And when they're
そして
dedicated,
結婚は祝福を、神の祝福を受け、そして死ぬ時には聖和式と、これを全部しましょうということで、家庭が反対していて、自分の家でこの封建式をできない、この封建式もしてまいりました。それから聖和式もこのように手作りのものもあります。追悼聖和式もありましたし、それから本当に手作りで、みんなの真心で送った聖和式もございます。生々しいここに生体って言いますか、遺体があるわけですけれども、このようにしてきました。最後に、私たちは自給自足と訓練のためにサンクチャリーファームを作りましょうと。これは大分です。かつて彼は六戦争の小教の闘士です。畑を作りながら御言葉を語り、ここでは玉ねぎやきゅうりやナスを最近は作りました。それから浜松はじゃがいも、さつまいも、スイカ、これらを作っています。みんなでこうしていってですね、これは群馬ですが、14年間検診をしていて草ぼうぼうになっているところを私たちが開拓しようということで、みんなで出かけて草刈りをしているわけです。これからブルーベリーを植えたり、それから白菜、大根、冬野菜を作ろうと今、9月に行く準備をしています。またでこれが第1回サンクチャリーファームの開拓団として草取り屋に行きました。あと福島ですね。ここでは今かぼちゃを作っています。それから桃を作ったりしようとしています。この兄弟も20歳で教会に来たのに家庭連合の中で、祝福を受けることができぬ、今50歳になっています。今この人の祝福を準備中です。最後に先ほども申し上げましたが、王様といかに一つになるか、お父様、そして二代王様、そして三代王様の準備もしなければなりませんし、一番は百聞は一見にしかず、王様のところに行きましょうということで、今まで
to meet them directly.
8 回
And
です
so
か
I think we've come here 2 回.
9回
9
9
times
回、
we've
来させていただきました。
planned trips to
そし
Newfoundland.
て、全体では168名になっておりますが、この中には裁判も入ってますし、また入ってない裁判の人もありますし、それから安永教会の方もありますから、200名ぐらいは来たのではないかと思います。これからも私たちは王様と心情的に一つになり、そして、世界に母の国として大きな影響と、そして愛情と奉仕ができる、そういう日本サンクチャリになっていきたいと思います。ありがとうございました。
Wow. Amazing, folks. Let's give it up one time for our Continental directors. And we thank True Father for all the amazing move of the Spirit that's happening. Wow. You see it? I told you not alone. God is moving. So powerful, so powerful. You know, we're so blessed, these Continental directors, you know, especially the first ones that stepped up. You know, they had to, I remember Mr. Lee and Mrs. Edekawa, when we did the ceremonies here, and then that was put on the internet, I think that night, was it that night? There was literally the whole world church was shaking when these two were anointed. Okay, I mean the whole Japanese network tree was on fire. It was like Edekawa, Edekawa. You know, it was emergency panic mode. I mean they came to like kidnap her at the airport. You know, Mr. Lee was he was ordered to come directly to headquarters, and he was everybody was like looking at him like, oh my gosh, that's the guy. That's the guy. He had to walk through this building. You know, I mean, these two, especially in Korea and Japan, where you, of course, know. You know, it's so, especially in Asia, of course, we have, you know, Father's Foundation there is the largest. But it's very group mentality, group think. So actually stepping out of that group and saying, no, we're going the wrong direction. We cannot follow. Is very anathema to the entire sociology of those countries. It's very, very hard. It's probably, you know, in America, yes, it's hard to step out of the groups and stuff like that. But in America, there's an acceptance of individual rights, you know, in the West. And understanding that even though, let's say, the parents went that way, the kid chose that way, well, we respect that child's decision. We respect the parents' decision, right? In the West, that is very commonplace. But in Asia and in Asian countries, even in Southeast Asian countries, bringing dishonor and shame to your family is life and death. It's like life and death, you know? So it's a different type of situation. It's very heavy. And so for these two, when they had to step out, I remember, it was not easy. We knew. When they get back to Japan and Korea, it will be a tornado storm. They will be attacked from every single angle. And what's amazing about these folks that were raised by Father, Mr. Lee, of course, was raised by Father in the businesses. So he was a CEO of businesses that Father had created. And so he's a very tough guy. You know, anybody who's in business who has to, you know, fight in the free marketplace, they're tough, right? Everybody knows that. You grow strong and tough. And I remember when we said, Mr. Lee, now you have to stand up for Father. He was actually a regional director in Korea in Family Bed. He was a regional director of Incheon region, which is right out of Seoul. That's where the big international airport is. You know, when you fly into Korea, that's the big area out of Seoul. And he was the regional director there, right? And so he had come here, and then we said, now Father is giving you this mission. You have to step up. And he was a true man of God in Korea, there's a general. His name is Lee Sun-shin Jangun. He's a general who fought off, what was that? He was the Japanese first, right? And he used this like little boat, like this little dragon boat. Have you seen this thing? Turtle boat. It's a turtle dragon boat. And he used this to fight them off. I don't know how, anyways, I don't know how he did it, but he fought off like a big invasion on Incheon. Was it in Incheon? No, okay, not in Incheon. It was Southern Korea, okay. But he had to fight off this big invasion, okay? And he is revered as a general in Korea. And so I don't know how tall he was in stature, but Mr. Lee, as you see, he's not a giant of a man in stature. But his courage and his honor to defend the King of Kings at the most difficult hour when nobody in Korea, everybody in Korea was like, you know, when they saw my breaking the silence, they just went, they couldn't breathe, okay? They could not say a word, okay? Everybody just turtled up and said, oh my God, you know, paralyzed in fear under their blankets, you know? In that time, Mr. Lee is a stepper. So I call him the true Lee Sun-shin general of heaven's side. And of course, Mrs. Erikawa, everybody knows, when she made that announcement, you know, Mrs. Erikawa is one of the main leaders that Father trusted when he was alive. She was the only woman president of Japan ever. So in terms of women leadership, she was the top of the women's leadership forever under Father. And everybody knows that she is a woman of integrity. She's a samurai. Her lineage is samurai. If you know her, you know she's samurai. She don't give a... What is it? What, Alex, what were you talking? Black walnut. She don't give no black walnuts about it. She'll cut your head off if you... She's a very powerful woman. She is 100% fearless when it comes to enemies because her faith and love for God is so powerful. And everybody knows that about her. Everybody in the worldwide church in Japan, all the missionaries, they were trained by her. The missionaries that went to Africa, that got blessed to African brothers and sisters, Russian, etc. They were trained by her. So they all know Mrs. Erikawa. Everybody knows she's a general, right? And when she came and visited us, you know, and we had a time, and I said, Mrs. Erikawa, now it's your time. You have to stand up for Father. And when she took the appointment, it was a firestorm. The entire, you know, Japanese telephone network was blowing up. Everybody was talking about it, but pretending not to talk about it. You know how the Japanese network is. And everybody knew what was going on. And they were so under panic mode. All their leaders, you know, made her go and talk to Han. You know, Han mother called directly to come to Korea, etc. But she told her straight. She told her straight. You know, and Mrs. Erikawa, she not only was raised under Father, Father appointed her in so many different areas to take responsibility for. And she knew the direction it was going was against Father's wishes. She knew. And so when she stood up, of course, Japan, all the different organizations used everything. They had literally, even this year, right? This year, week after week after week of special education indoctrination training. Did you hear about this? They force all the Japanese members to, you must listen to attend this special indoctrination training where they, you know, re-education centers, right? Where they have to go through education. And it's basically about cursing Erikawa and me. Right? But she continues to move forward, press forward through the armies of assault, etc., to push forward with true faith. And because of that, other real samurai could come out. I mean, these people all here, you see those Japanese people here? All these people, their lineage is very dangerous people. Oh, she's kissing her samurai over there. Look at Fran kissing her samurai over there. Right? The true samurai started rising up. And of course, remember, folks, all these reports happen. That's 1 year. That's 1 year. 1 year. While family fraud is collapsing. That's happening in 1 year. Now you imagine how much easier. Think about how much easier it is. When they first came out, remember, folks? Remember when we were just a group here? When these guys came out, there was nobody. Zero in Japan. Zero in Korea, right? After 1 year, it's like that. Okay? 1 year. That's a testament to how powerful God is moving and Father is moving. He's calling back his people. Now think about 1 year later. Think how much more easy it is to see the truth now because there's so many hundreds and hundreds of people that have come forth. It's so much easier, right? So God's people are coming back. Unfortunately, God bless them. They are now preparing in a way that is true. They're going Ocean Challenge. They're out there creating farms, practicing self-reliance. These are beautiful things that Father educated us on. We were talking with, and of course, Richard, Christian, America, yes. I mean, Richard is the sweetest man you'll ever meet in your life. No, he couldn't even harm a fly. It looks when you see him, right? I bet you he's the type of guy that he sees a mosquito on him and he says, "Oh, I can't do it." And he's not even a Buddhist monk, okay? He is the sweetest man that you'll ever meet. But this man is a warrior. Don't let his sweet demeanor confuse you, devil. Because Richard Panzer, he's a tank. We call him Richard the Tank Panzer. That's his MMA fighting name, Richard the Tank Panzer. Because he stood up. Of course, here we know that all these we have some guys here, all you guys who are here in this community, all these guys, and of course, the Japanese brothers, we've been introducing them to you guys. The guys who were standing up in the beginning, fighting their hearts out online. See? I was telling them about them this morning. This is Jamal here. This is Robert. These guys, Lowell, Lisa. Where are you guys, All these guys. From the beginning, they were out there. Malik, right? Where are you guys? Kyle. These guys, Jim, Hiromi, San, these people, all these, and of course, I can't see everybody. It's hard to see everybody at the same time, okay? Where's Urban, Rich Urban, there he is, right? All you guys, you know who you are. Standing up at the hardest time. Lourdes, we forgot Lourdes. Where's that $25 million woman? Lourdes, there you are. All of them standing up at the hardest time. The hardest time. The most difficult time. Christian Seeberger standing up for Europe, having some place where Europe can connect to, And of course, all these things that happen, this is happening by non-central. We're not orchestrating all this, folks. These are free peoples who are freely associating, who are connected by love. Connected by love. The love of true Father. They're connected by that. And then connecting to his kingship. That is the fruit of what's happening in that last year. Right? So these are things, this is such an amazing testament to the amazing victories that are happening. I just want to share one story. This is, of course, my man in San Francisco. He's my black brother from another country. San Francisco, stand up. This small guy. Don't let his stature fool you. He'll knock you out. Okay? He's, of course, a professional mixed martial artist. And he had an amazing testimony. He was serving, I brought him from Brazil to serve Father on our security team. Okay? And since I was following Father and serving him directly, San Fran was probably the closest than any other team. Even the head of the security team could not get as close as San Fran. Okay, his name is Francisco da Costa, but father gave him the name San Fran, which actually means Saint Francisco. Right? And so I call him San Fran for short. But he was on our security team, and because I am the head of all those things. Wherever I said come, he would come close. So he was in the planes, in the helicopter, everywhere. Everywhere I went, he was with me. Right? He was like kind of like my shadow. You know, we were always there together. And I was training with him all the time when we had time. But he directly was able to witness Father. Probably closer than any Brazilian person in church history. He was able to witness Father for over maybe a year and a half, 1 year, serving Father like that. Now, when everything happened, the Han mother went after. She fired him from that position, sent him back to Brazil. This guy gave up everything to come to serve Father, right? He had his dojo down there. He had a gymnasium. He was training professional fighters. He was fighting himself, and he gave up everything to serve true Father. Okay, so he was relying on that. Now, when he was fired, he was sent back to Brazil. He had nothing. He was literally homeless on the street. He lived in Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo, you know, it's not good neighborhoods. Okay, a lot of, it's very jam-packed, and there's a lot of drugs and a lot of crime, etc. So he was basically out on the street. He lost his house, lost his apartment. His wife and 3 children were out there alone. Okay, now he gets back to Brazil. He told me the story yesterday. He never told me this before. And one of his guys or something had organized a mixed martial art tournament. And he had just returned from Brazil. He lost everything, doesn't have anything now. And the guy said, by heaven's miracle, God said, I can get you in if you want. But your opponent is the champion. And this guy is a murderer. He's an axe murderer. What's his, I don't know, his MMA name is, you know, Assassin or something like that. I mean, he just destroys, kills people, right? So his wife was begging him, please don't do it, don't fight him. San Fran is 41 years old and he's still fighting professional mixed martial arts cage fighting. 41 years old. This guy is not a joke. We were training yesterday, boy. He was punching my boys up yesterday. They got some good punches last night. They felt some nice punches. And he was being sweet. He would be very sweet with you boys. But so the guy gets him in. 40, at that time, maybe 38 years old, 39 years old. His opponent is like in his 20s. Okay, he's the champion. They have to fight 5 rounds of 5 minutes, folks. It's like sprinting for 5 minutes. When you are trying to hit somebody as hard as you can for 5 minutes, it's like sprinting for 5 minutes straight. Anybody who's done wrestling, you know what it takes to wrestle somebody for 5 minutes straight. And on top of that, trying to hit them as hard as you can for 5 minutes straight, and not try to get knocked out, and not try to get choked, and not try to get your arms broken, and not trying to get elbowed in the face, and not trying to get kneed, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, it's a lot of things you got to worry about. So he said, no, I'm going to go fight. I'm going to fight that champion. So he goes. His wife is begging him, please don't do it. He has nothing. He lost his house. He's on the streets of Sao Paulo. He goes in for 3 rounds. This guy was pummeling his face, pummeling his body. His face was totally cut up. 21 days in the hospital. He had to spend 21 days in the hospital. He had 3 broken ribs, 1 broken clavicle, bruised, my goodness, bruised nothing, bruised up everything, and cut up face all over. 3 rounds, the guy was pummeling, and beating him to death. Then the 4th round came. The 4th round came. And this guy was a beast, okay? So he was hitting, boom, boom, and he wanted to throw him down on the ground to even do more devastation and damage on him. And in that moment where this guy took him down to try to beat him up more, break more of his bones, because 3 already were broken, four plus the clavicle, 4 bones were already broken, trying to beat him to a pulp. In the 4th round, while he's being taken down, so he's in midair, he's able to wrap a jiu-jitsu chokehold called the guillotine on this guy, and he defeated that opponent in the 4th round after dying for 3 rounds. 3 bones broken, clavicle broken, face cut up. Okay, and guess what? The prize money, I don't know how much prize, he said it was a lot of prize money. So because of that fight, his family was able to buy the house that they're living in now. Because of that fight. And Sanford said, when he won that fight, all his children were crying and they were hugging him saying, oh my God, Daddy. And his wife was crying, everybody's crying. And he said, all the glory goes to True Father. True Father provided for me. That's what I'm talking about, folks. That's real love. Family fraud got none of that. The reason why I tell the story is because it's emblematic. It's a symbol. It's a battle he had to actually walk, but it's a symbol of all these guys, all you guys had to walk. It is a symbol. It's that kind of warrior spirit, that kind of fighting spirit that has gotten us through the tribulations. And of course, there will be more to come, but it's that kind of fighting spirit that is the culture of the kingship. Anyways, let's get, oh my goodness, how long is it? We're way over time today. We're going to go until 6 in the evening like this, by this rate. But we had so many incredible things on Friday, folks. We talked with the young people and also our Korean group about storing true treasures. True treasures. Jesus says, store your treasures in heaven. Yes. Your treasures in heaven. There is no other greater treasure, folks, than to know Christ, to have a relationship with him, and to be part of his lineage. There's no greater treasure. That's an eternal treasure, eternal gift that will never leave. That is something, of course, unless we deliberately leave it. But that is the true treasure. Also, the other treasures we were talking about is our relationships with other brothers and sisters who do not betray True Father. Right? These human relationships, these relationships that we became blessed with, many of us didn't know each other before all this. This is treasure. This is wealth, folks. We're taught that paper money is wealth. No, this is wealth right here. This is wealth. When you're with honorable people and you're with people who stand up for what's right and who stand up for God, that is true wealth. Right? We talked about also learning how to grow your own foods, organic food, organic vegetables, organic meat, learning how to do these things. This is wealth, folks. This is money. It's wealth. And it's connecting us back to what Father was doing for so many decades, teaching us to do aquaponics and fish farming and farm, all this kind of thing, but we just didn't pay attention to it. The leaders had no interest. They want to drive in a Benz, Mercedes, Benz, whatever, the stupid little. I rode all those stupid cars. They don't impress me, honestly speaking. People spend their whole lives trying to ride around in one of those things, and once they got it, after a year or two, they're bored with it. It ain't that great of a thing. A Hyundai can get you from here to here. And it's got air conditioning. Toyotas can do that too. Right? Real wealth. We talk about learning the kingship mentality, folks. What's the kingship mentality? The kingship mentality understands true wealth. Okay? Understands true wealth. Both physical and spiritual wealth. So we have to be smart, both physically and spiritually. We know spiritual wealth, but also physical wealth. Not paper money. It's gold, silver, land. We talked about this many times, right? physical, true wealth that we take ownership of and pass down through generations. Okay? Reclaiming sovereignty is the mentality of kingship. Reclaiming sovereignty is the mentality of kingship. Right? Sovereignty, where you have territory and you are sovereign over that and you have responsibility over that, even responsibility to die to defend it. Right? So with that sovereignty comes the responsibility of defense and learning how to defend that kingdom. Remember, folks, the kingdom of heaven is a nation of kings and queens that are gathered together by free association, that are gathered together by the King of Kings and the kingship, the constitution that protects them. This is what all of us, whether we know it or not, are moving towards. Okay? And in all small different ways, faster, some slower than others, some faster than others, but step by step, to develop the kingship mentality, to understand kingdom thinking. Our young people here will probably get their first experience at shooting firearms and training combat martial arts and choking somebody's neck and doing these kind of things. Unlocking your epigenetics, unlocking your true nature of being a sovereign and an owner, not what Archangel wants you to be, weak, dumb, that you will follow any orders of any authoritarian and authorities. That's how Archangel wants to train you. But kingship and Chanigo kingdom does not. We want people to become sovereign peoples who understand that gift that comes from God. And to be able to embrace that mentality of kingship. I always tell my sons, embrace your masculinity. Don't be brainwashed by the propaganda trying to feminize you. Embrace your manhood. Don't let him cut it off. Embrace your manhood. Why? The Archangel hates men who embrace their masculinity. They hate women who embrace femininity. They hate it. Everything in their system is designed to make opposite what God intends. To make men effeminate, to make women the dominatrixes. But that's easy. Why? Because that's easy to control. If all the men become effeminate and they become castrated, and the women become the dominatrix of the house, who controls the women? The Archangel. Look at the Roman Empire. Look at all the systems, how they set it up. The women, they capture the women to train the young kids to be obedient to the Caesar. So, the wage of women requires women who say, no, I will not be your slave. I will not marry you, Archangel, and I will love my man and his masculinity with all my heart. Requires women like that, who are not scared of a man who knows how to punch faces and choke necks. She can do it too. I'm not saying she can't do it either. But she can appreciate that. That's why I'm so proud of the Queen. Did you know, folks, the Queen, did you see her punching faces and choking necks? She's online punching faces. She's doing kickboxing training with the girls. She's doing jiu-jitsu training with them. Where's my other ninja girls at? They're all around here. These girls are getting dangerous, man. Don't mess with it. Look at that, Christina. You better watch out. She'd choke your neck out. That girl's a tough monster. He would choke your neck out. What an amazing culture. Amazing culture. And look, it's not because we train these kind of, it doesn't mean you're a baboon and you're some kind of gangster or something. No. If you meet us, we're probably some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Right? I mean, we're some of the nicest people. However, we also have real power. that God has given us, and we have not shied away. We have not bought into live archangel to embrace his weakness and throw away the strength God has given us. So it's about embracing our kingdom mentality, folks, and about embracing the kingdom culture. I'm so grateful to all these guys here, you know, all the leaders, all you folks. Remember, these are precious people. Take time to interact with these folks. You know, their time here is short, but take time to interact with them. These people are the people we will spend eternity with. We are going to be in our Father's house. We will be in our Father's house. We are part of the kingship, and the kingdom begins from here. That's where it begins. So with that said, SOS, come on out. When we praise God today, folks, let's give him all the glory. Wow, what an amazing year. Father, that's all Father's glory. Let's give all that stuff you saw on those slides, all of it. Let's offer it up together as we praise him and lift his name up. Let's all rise and give him all the glory. Amen and amen.
lift him up today. He didn't come for his own will. He came for God's will. Jesus, he lives. Moon and stars to the morning sun will say, the Savior of the world was falling. His body on the cross, his blood poured out for us, the weight of every curse upon him. presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you will call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you will call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander. My faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Where my trust is without borders, let me walk upon the waters wherever you will call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander. My faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours, and you are mine. You're mine. I'm yours. You are mine. I am
Give God praise, everyone. Let him hear our praises. From here to Japan to Korea, everywhere around the world. Let him hear us.
May your home be filled with dancing. May your streets be filled with joy. May injustice bow to Jesus.
Give God praise. Let him know that we know that he is alive and that he's among us today.
I know he rescued my soul. His blood has covered my sin. I believe. My shame is taken away. My pain is healed
만화왕 전진점산 3대 왕권 억만세 천일국 창건 억만세 아주 hug your neighbor bless them